If William and Lucille Hammond had known the path their bouncing baby boy would take and how many lives he would really impact, they may have wrapped him in a blanket sewn with gold thread. James Hammond was born on November 11, 1929, a day that would become Veterans Day. Today, we cheerfully celebrate a birthday and respectfully honor a tried and true veteran. This is the James A. Hammond's story. The military quickly recognized, utilized, and rewarded his leadership skills. Hammond advanced from a ROTC cadet colonel his senior year at Hampton University to a retired lieutenant colonel. Mr. Hammond had the propensity for showing courage, like when he stood face to face with danger during the Greyhound bus station incident.
What gave me the courage, I was determined to be sure that all of my personnel, military personnel, were fed lunch at the Greyhound bus station, and there was no place for them to go. And they called the cops, and policemen came from all over the city, about 10 of them, I guess, and told me I had to leave. And I said, I'm not going to leave. They said, well, sir, you got to leave. And so we left and took all my personnel and got them on the buses, and we left and went over to FAMU University, and they fed us there.
His undeniable charm won the heart of the woman, Evelyn Morrell, who gave life to his legacy, Kevin, Gary, and Lisa. His passion for justice surfaced in a massive way with his founding of YAPA, Young Adults for Progressive Action. YAPA was a force behind many social integration equality type actions, such as voter registration, sit-ins, and boycotts. In 1965, Hammond started another organization called Compensatory Pre-Primary Education, a $500,000 federally funded and first such program in Hillsborough County.
So I got 12 black preachers in Tampa. I sat with them and told them I was trying to do. I got them to sign a letter saying they'd be happy to do this. I told them I was going to go back to the school system. So I took their letters back with me to the superintendent and said, sir, I have 12 preachers that will let us help this program start in their churches. I said, will you do this? He said, oh, I'll do it now. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll be happy to do it. So that's how I got it started. So we then started with 12 schools in the school system. This was almost 2 years or longer before Head Start was even thought about. And the school system started the program, and I was in charge of the program. And eventually, the school system says, we like to have our people totally in charge and not the community relations, which I was the chairman of those community relations. That's how they got started.
In 1965, when denied enrollment for specific University of Tampa training, Hammond, Hazel Gibbons, and attorney Francisco Rodriguez sued University of Tampa for discrimination. Within 2 years, the first African American were admitted.
As a businessman, I was determined to find out how can I invest money. So that was the program at the University of Tampa. And I went to the program and I sat in the class. And the time I got there and before the class started, a gentleman came over to me and said, Mr. Hammond, can I see you outside? I said, sure. So I walked outside. He said, sir, I'm very sorry, but colored people cannot come to the University of Tampa. I said, what? He said, I'm sorry to tell you, but you cannot enroll and you cannot come to this university. So my determination, I went immediately and got Attorney Rodriguez to file a suit against the University of Tampa. And we won that suit after a short period of time. And the University of Tampa, at that point in time, after we won the suit, agreed to bring black people on at the University of Tampa.
Quick thinking and decisive action saved Tampa from destruction by rioters following the death of Martin Chambers by police in 1967. Hammond knew who to call to mobilize a group of young people to calm a city. Hammond, John Daniels, and Robert Scott recruited 126 who wore white hats, became neighborhood leaders, and nationally renowned for bringing about self-control and reason to an unreasonable situation. In 1967, 120 African Americans were hired and trained by GTE, now Verizon. Among them were Billy Mitchell, Velma Douglas, and George Eddie Hodgins, who became the 3 first African American managers for GTE in Tampa. Hammond had everyone wondering, What did he say to get them to take such history-making actions?
I told the president of GTE that I realized that the federal government was on that case about not hiring African Americans at that company. I convinced him that I could get the government to back off if he would follow through on some suggestions I had. And he agreed to do that. Therefore, we ended up bringing into the company 20 people at one time for a 6-week training program to qualify to go to GTE. That happened, and after it happened, the government said they told me up front that it would take about 3 months to hire all these people. But what happened after they were so excited about what we did, all of these personnel were hired within 30 days. And this program with GTE became national all over the country of all the GTE companies to bring in black people into their companies and stop segregating them.
Hammond made a career out of making things right for Tampa and all of its citizens. He was appointed to the Mayor's Biracial Committee in 1964 as the first administrator of Commissioner of Community Relations in Tampa. In 1975, his 25th year, he was awarded Alumni of the Year at Hampton University, as well as being the first black elected chairman of the Civil Service Board in 1980. In 1983, he governed the civil service system for all classified city employees. He served as commissioner of the State of Florida Unemployment Appeals Commission, having been appointed by Governor Ruben Askew and reappointed by Governors Bob Martinez, Lawton Childs, and Jeb Bush. During his tenure at Jim Walter Corporation from 1974 to the late 80s as Director of Equal Opportunity Programs, he led by example. He created a program which subsequently became the compliance model for many other companies to follow. In the mid-80s, Hammond's company, Impact Communications, became the first major black-owned television cable construction firm in the state of Florida. His company was awarded a multi-million-dollar contract to build the aerial and underground cable systems for the city of Tampa.
What gave me the strategy to get the cable company to let us have the job, I told them I was an electrical contractor, highly qualified. I had the personnel that knew how to do cable constructions. And they agreed to give us 15% of the work. I told them I wanted 100% at that time. But after a few months, the people that were doing the big job started messing up, and the telephone company the personnel who were doing the cable system came back and said, would you like to do the whole job? I said, I told you in the beginning I wanted to do the whole job, and we got the whole job to wire the complete city of Tampa.
On May 4, 2008, Hillsborough County School Board dedicated in his honor the James A. Hammond Elementary School.